A girl stands near a well crying when her father arrives and drags her inside. She pleads that she will be a better daughter, but he shoves her into the attic, locking her inside. Why would a father do this to his daughter? Let's unravel the mystery behind this cruel retribution. The film begins with a voice informing us about Arkham, an isolated town surrounded by heavy forests, home to the story of legends and witchcraft. At the bank of a lake, Lavinia is performing a ritual, asking the forces to free her and take her away. She gets interrupted by Ward, a hydrologist, and he watches her with amusement. She snaps at him for trespassing on private property, and he apologizes. He is visiting the area to inspect the water for the future dam's construction. Lavinia returns home and meets her father, Nathan. He warns her to not wander around without telling them, as her mother, Teresa, gets worried. Lavinia takes the horse to the barn and finds her brother, Benny, smoking there. Nathan has recently moved his family to the countryside and thinks that they are living the dream, finally away from the city. There are only 2 houses in the area, one of Nathan and the other is Ezra, an electrician who stays isolated. Nathan cooks dinner for the family while Teresa does some online work. She asks him to fix the Wi-Fi as she is having problems at work. At night, the house starts to shake, and Jack, the youngest son, gets out of bed. Then a brilliant purple light covers the entire area. The parents are busy when a huge blast is heard, and they get out to see Jack frozen out of fear. Nathan, Benny, and Lavinia find that a huge rock has hit their front yard. It seems that only Nathan is able to sense the rotting smell coming from it. Teresa calls them inside, concerned that Jack has gone into shock, suggesting that they should take him to the hospital, but Nathan dismisses, saying that it's too far, and makes himself a drink. Jack finally speaks and says that his head hurts, and Teresa takes him to bed. The following day, the mayor and the sheriff visit Nathan to inspect the rock. Ward also gets there to interview the locals. Lavinia introduces him to her father, and Ward looks at the rock, saying that it is a meteorite, although they usually disintegrate before hitting Earth. The mayor leaves, saying that she will have the media informed. Ward asks if they have any neighbors, and Nathan then sends Benny to help Ward visit Ezra, who welcomes the 2 into his house and offers them water. Ward notices something in the water and asks if he can take it to the camp to examine, and Ezra agrees. Back at the camp, Ward finds out that the water in the town is badly contaminated. Later, he gets a call, but only hears a static noise on the other end. He then hears something move near his tent and notices a purple light floating across the trees. All of a sudden, his car starts by itself, and he gets closer to see what's up. But it abruptly stops, and the radio begins to play music, freaking him out. The next morning, the couple finds out the meteorite is gone. While Nathan is surprised, Teresa is glad. A while later, the media arrives to find the claim of the meteorite to be false and interview Nathan. Later at night, Nathan is upset watching the news where he looks like a crazy man, and the kids laugh. He asks Jack to call his mother from the kitchen where Teresa is making dinner. She first cracks a bloody egg, then chops carrots and intentionally does the same thing with her fingers. Jack witnesses this and goes to his dad. Nathan immediately takes her to the hospital, putting Benny in charge. The next morning, Benny takes the alpacas out to feed. Lavinia later wakes up and finds the alpacas feeding in the front yard, so she scolds Benny to feed them, but he argues that he already has done that. She tells him to take them to the barn and notices Jack whistling to the well. Jack says that he is talking to his friend down there, and Lavinia also hears some noise coming from it. Feeling weird, she gets inside and then gets a call from Nathan, but they only hear static noise. Meanwhile, Jack draws a monster and then goes near the well to find a purple egg hatching, and an insect flies out of there. It watches Jack in its purple vision and flies away. Inside the house, Lavinia washes the knife that her mother used, and she urges herself not to puke. The purple light surrounds her, and the time goes from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. when she still hasn't washed the knife. The sink fills with blood-stained water, and she rushes to throw up. Just then, Ward arrives at the door and warns Lavinia not to drink the water as it is heavily contaminated. She feels sick again and shuts the door in his face. He notices Jack laughing, and upon asking, he says that he is talking to his friend. This kid is just flat out creepy. Ward continues to Ezra's place to warn him about the water, but upon arriving, he finds Ezra talking about the aliens living underground and makes him hear some recordings of static noise. Naturally, Ward thinks that the old man has lost it and gets out of there. While driving back from the hospital, a mutilated cat-like creature gets in front of their car, scaring them. Worried, Teresa calls the kids, but no one answers. Back at the house, Jack is still near the well, and the purple light appears again, enraging their dog, Sam, who sneers and follows it while the kid just stares. Inside, Lavinia blocks all the sound using her earphones and notices the computer showing static. Benny arrives and says that he had a weird experience where he lost the sense of time, and one moment it was morning, the other it went dark, and he couldn't even find the house. Suddenly, they hear a phone call from their parents, but they only hear weird noises. Just then, the lights begin to flicker, and the two finally remember that they have a younger brother to take care of. They rush out, just in time for the parents to arrive and find Jack alone near the well. Busted! They get scolded for being so irresponsible, and Teresa takes Jack inside. Nathan finds the alpacas out in the open and gets enraged. Even more, he takes them back to the barn and calls Sam to no avail. Lavinia tries to tell him that something wrong is going on, but Nathan rudely lashes out at her. Benny tries to console her, and she decides that they need to get the hell out of this place. The next day, Nathan loses his senses even more while getting rashes over his arms, and Teresa screams at him to fix the internet. At night, Jack is not able to fall asleep and gets out of bed. He finds Nathan asleep in front of the TV. He goes outside and finds his brother watching their mesmerizing purple yard. Meanwhile, a frustrated Lavinia starts a ritual in desperation for freedom, which follows an intense scene where she draws symbols all over her body using a cutter. The brothers hear a noise coming from the barn and follow it. To their horror, they find the alpacas turned into gory creatures as if their skin was turned upside down. The brilliant purple light suddenly appears, scaring them outside the barn, where Teresa has also arrived after noticing Jack's absence in the bed. She rushes to protect her little kid, and the bolt of purple light strikes the two. And you should brace yourself for this. Hearing the commotion, Nathan gets out to find his wife and youngest son melted and merged together in an unexplainable mass. With the help of Benny, he takes them inside and instructs Benny to call 911, but the line still delivers static. Lost in her own world, the wannabe witch finally gets downstairs as if she has attained some kind of powers, but gets slapped back to reality after watching the whining mass lying on the couch. The next morning, Nathan finds out that his car has died and lashes out with uncharacteristic rage. Defeated, he gets inside to his wailing wife and son and informs them that there is no way out as the car is dead and the help is miles away. Maybe he should just make another drink. Benny notices the light is hurting the two, and they carry them to the attic, where Benny informs him that the alpacas have gone weird. Enraged again, Nathan goes to the barn and finds the alpacas melted into a huge mass and shoots them all. He goes back to the attic, where the kids help their mother drink water. He orders them to get out, saying that he will deal with it. Realizing that his father will kill them, they bid their mother and brother goodbye before defeatedly leaving the attic. Nathan tries to shoot but fails to kill the love of his life and promises her to find help, only to go back to the living room and drink more alcohol. I told ya, this dude. In the city, Ward goes to submit his report on the water in Arkham. Upon getting there, he meets the sheriff who has found the deformed alpacas. Back at the farm, the siblings decide to run away, but their plan fails when the horse acts out and runs off. Benny then claims to hear Sam's voice from the well, and despite Lavinia's plea, he gets inside to save the dog. But the purple light strikes again, and he is gone. Lavinia starts to lose it when Nathan arrives, and instead of consoling her, the demented man drags her inside and locks her in the attic, despite her fearful pleas. The sheriff and Ward visit the farm to inquire. They ask the drunk Nathan some questions before hearing Lavinia scream. They break into the attic and find the mother and son turned into a deformed creature with multiple limbs, drooling over Lavinia. Nathan shoots the two to save his daughter, whom he himself put in danger. Ward brings Lavinia out towards the car, but stops after seeing the purple light. Nathan gets ready to shoot it, but the sheriff, assuming that he is aiming at Ward, instantly shoots Nathan. A frantic Lavinia rushes to her father and refuses to go with Ward. Ward and the sheriff then visit Ezra, but find his desiccated corpse with a recording left behind, where he surmises that the purple color is the alien that is trying to remake Earth like its previous habitat. They notice the purple light inside Ezra and run out before it blasts. While going back to the farmhouse, the sheriff gets picked up and killed by a mutated tree. Ward returns and finds Lavinia possessed by the light. Upon staring into her eyes, he is shown a vision of a psychedelic exoplanet inhabited by tentacled aliens. The light explodes out of the well like a tornado, and Lavinia disintegrates with it. The color surrounds the area as space and time start to unravel. With a lot of struggle, Ward manages to get inside the house, where Nathan's apparition tries to hurt him, but he gets inside a wine cellar and hides as the color destroys the property. The next morning, Ward gets out of the remains into a colorless, ashy land. In the next scene, a mortified Ward stands on top of a now-finished dam that covers the farmland, and the film ends as he says that after everything he witnessed, he will never drink the dam's water. What do you think about this movie? It's been a long time since I've seen alpacas with a major role in a film. Please let us know in the comments below.